I'm Jay Horton. I make movies that make money. This is how. Filmhub is a marketplace. Works a little bit like an aggregator, but there are no upfront fees. You basically upload your movie there and they submit it to platforms. Then they take 20% off the back end when they collect. The upside here, as opposed to going DIY, is that Filmhub is getting placement for filmmakers on platforms that most have trouble reaching on their own. Platforms like Tubi TV and IMDb TV, where you can make substantially more than you can on just Amazon. But how does Filmhub decide where to submit your film once you've uploaded it? Do they just shotgun it out to everyone? Do they curate? The answer might surprise you. Filmhub does not curate at all based on a movie's creative content, unless it's something extreme, like hate speech or something like that. The only standards in place are technical. Once a film is uploaded to Filmhub, it goes through a quality control process to make sure that the movie meets the technical requirements required from the platforms. This includes the movie itself, artwork, and metadata. And it's during this process that Filmhub's algorithm analyzes the submission for details, such as genre, cast, themes, keywords. This is why it's so important to fill out all of your info, including keywords and tags. Filmhub then uses that data to pair your film with the right platforms, based on the platform's preferences. Themed watch lists are also created for platforms based upon channel requests, such as Black cinema, LGBTQ+ films, aliens, POV horror, Christmas movies, January new releases. Platforms and buyers may also search Filmhub's catalogs themselves using search tools that Filmhub provides. Filmmakers can't pick and choose which platforms Filmhub submits their movies to, but you can choose which ones they cannot distribute to via your managed rights section. Now, there is no guarantee that a channel will select your movie, or if they do, how long it'll take them to select it. Titles perform differently at different times on Filmhub. Some perform right away. They come right out the gate and just boom, 2 million minutes a week. But others, it takes them a few months, or it may take a few years in some instances to build momentum. For example, my movie, Monsters in the Woods, was first uploaded to Filmhub around late 2018, something like that. And honestly, it pretty much just sat on Amazon, doing very little for about a year. Then, after a slight pickup in numbers in early 2020 on Amazon, it was selected by Tubi TV. And it's making better money there right now than it ever has anywhere else. So yeah, it can take a little time, but it can also happen much sooner. I've had other titles get selected by Tubi in their first few weeks of release. New channels are constantly being added to Filmhub, so don't sweat it if you don't see many channels selecting your movie right at the jump. Monsters in the Woods was initially pretty much on just Amazon, maybe one other channel. Now it's on over 7 different platforms. Filmhub's algorithm selects appropriate projects and submits them to the right platforms. Okay, I get that. Then what? The platforms, or channel buyers, review the titles sent to them by Filmhub. And the time that it takes for them to review those titles, well, that can vary. Some complete their reviews weekly, some monthly, some quarterly, some a little longer. Now, many of you may ask, what can you do to increase the odds of being selected by a platform? The most important factor that can affect where your title is submitted to over a period of time is your title's popularity ranking on Filmhub. That is an internal metric within Filmhub that ranks the movies in their catalog. At this time, it's not available to filmmakers. Titles that are high up in Filmhub's popularity ranking are more likely to get selected by more channels. And one of the most important factors in popularity ranking is the revenue generated by Filmhub for that film. Filmhub relies on revenue data of how your movie has performed versus the other movies in their catalog. Popularity rankings also take into account other details such as festival awards and selections, IMDb rankings, name actors, and the number of times that the movie's ordered by channels. And a film's popularity ranking can also increase based on your other titles' performances on that channel. For instance, if you have a title that's done really well on Tubi TV, you're much more likely to have your other titles rise in watch lists that Tubi reviews. This has been happening to me a lot lately. Almost every title I put on Filmhub is selected by Tubi very early on these days because my past titles have done so well there. So if your film is selected and delivered to a channel, it's very important that you promote it and promote it on that channel so that Filmhub can see that there is an audience for your film there. Now, the downside to all this is that it also means that if you choose other methods, such as DIY distribution, to deliver to other channels, it can hurt your overall performance on Filmhub. And this is basically why I don't recommend uploading to Amazon yourself anymore. The 20% that you'll lose on the back end through Filmhub, in general, you'll make that up on what you make off the other platforms that Filmhub places you on. And really, initially, that's all based on how you're doing on Amazon. It's simple, really. The more revenue you generate on Filmhub, the more likely you're to get selected by other channels on Filmhub. Now, I am not sponsored by Filmhub. I'm just a filmmaker that's been using it for a few years and have seen some great returns from it. Your mileage may vary. Don't just take my word for it. Do your own research. But if you're in the midst of deciding on a distribution strategy for your indie film, I highly recommend at least checking them out. But whatever you do, keep making movies.